Hey everybody, it is August 28th, 2024. Here I am in front of the Kelowna courthouse once again. This is actually my 5th judicial justice hearing with Constable Conrad Tyrant Erbes. And of course I also had provincial court in June as well, where they stayed the first ticket that Erbes gave me on January 29th, 2022. That's right guys, 2 years, 7 months, and some days ago, this all started with Erbes knocking on my camper door after he was called by the Kelowna Security Operations Center, who was monitoring vehicles of the Freedom Rally, or whatever, or Freedom Convoy it became called. And then they targeted me, bylaw, the Kelowna Security, and Erbes was called, and he became the biggest tyrant of them all. But it's all just a setup from the whole system of targeting my independent news of the Freedom Convoy. My channel was the biggest one, covering one of the biggest rallies in the West. And they didn't like that, obviously, and they wanted to shut me up, and so they came at me hard. Wanted me out of the camper. I refused to get out of the camper. I refused to give identification. And then of course Erbes refused to identify himself the entire time. I asked him 14 times to identify, and his answers was always, "I'll identify when you step out of the vehicle. Meet me on the sidewalk and I'll identify. I'll identify after you identify." And of course I was in the camper, a structure mounted upon a motor vehicle, not in the vehicle, as he has testified as well, that there's nobody in the cab of the vehicle. And so he had no reason, no legal right to get my identification. And I wasn't, there was no reasonable suspicion or probability that I committed a crime, so he couldn't get my ID that way either. And in his synopsis, he said the individual was not arrested because he was in the motorhome. And of course, if I did go outside, you can only imagine what that writing means. It means he was going to make up something to arrest me. He would probably try to put his hands on me and then say I'm assaulting, resisting, etc. And then I would have been arrested. So good thing I stayed in the camper. And anyways, so court's at 9:30. I'll follow up and let you know what happens after, guys. I'm this now 5th for judicial justice. I'm actually going to be able to cross-examine Erbes. I just started to cross-examine him for 5 minutes at the last court date, and now we get right into it. We're going to catch him in his lies, and he's going to just nail himself right into the ground. Cheers.